We're not live. We are live. We are live right now with episode number 6.
Number 6
of our second annual 12 Hours of Boom. Real
so
quick.
known as the Hump Boom.
Real quick, because we haven't mentioned it in every show, go to scotchtestdummies.com. We got a special edition t-shirt up for today. We don't have them on hand. I wish we did to wear them. They're only available for a week or two. Information is up on our website as well for our 5th anniversary gathering.
October 19th
and 20th. Go to the events tab on scotchtestdummies.com and check that out. We have Scotch Trooper.
What is up?
Go ahead. Tell everybody that's watching. I think most probably know who you are. If not, introduce yourself.
Intro.
I am Brett. I am known as Scotch Trooper. As of recently, I was taking pictures of Star Wars figures and whiskey, make lamps and stuff on the side as well. So kind of all encompassing, but yeah, that's where I've been the last couple of years. So
that's what we're going to talk about. You basically just got laid off from everything, didn't you?
Yeah, it got really interesting. Do we want to crack open the whiskey first though?
Yeah, you bet. Bart doesn't know we talked.
Clueless. And
some people are on Cocktail Maven actually hinted at it. She didn't release too much. But it'll be news to Bart. And I really wanted just Bart's reaction. And I know he'll have some good questions for you coming up. You wanted to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
So or I wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, it's been going on way too long, and people are asking, and people are coming up with assumptions that really need to kind of be squashed at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, you said we were going. I was like, well, what do you want to taste? What do you got? Blah, blah, blah. You were like, what about Compass Box of the Muse? I'm a big Compass Box collector / super fan. I did have a bottle of the Muse, and I thought, what better? Every bottle has time and opening.
I like the way you think, and it is that time.
It's that time. So I'm just now, Brett, you just opened yours before. You're letting it get some air. The same. I said, as soon as we go live, I'm going to open my bottle on air. We'll pour it, but we're going to let it sit for a little bit.
Let it air out a little bit. I'm doing a little coffee.
So there's a lot of firsts happening right here.
Yeah.
This was, again, and I think I mentioned this on a previous show, this was my first Glencairn ever.
Ooh.
Scotch Test Dummies. This is the first pour out of this bottle, but you guys were quite instrumental in me getting into Compass Box.
Really?
When I was really early on in my journey, I found the Flaming Heart, not this last edition, but the one before. I think it was 2014. And I saw the label, needed to buy the bottle, and I knew nothing about it. So I reached out to you guys, and I was like, hey, does this even look halfway decent? You're like, pick it up now. And so yeah, I purchased it pretty much just for the label, but now I'm kind of a fanboy. So thank you.
Yeah. Very nice stuff. I don't know if you caught it. We actually had John Glazer came on a show with us via just telephone. He didn't want to do the video hangout, which was fine, which was great. Yeah. But he came on just as this was being released and released quite a bit of information on it. Yes. Matter of fact, before it had come out.
Nice.
And that meant it was time for Scott to open the circus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and on the show I did open. I only have one bottle of that. I only have one bottle of this. I know where a backup is. It's pretty pricey. I don't know if we want to.
All right. And in that show, I really enjoyed the double single.
Really
enjoyed the
I love the double single.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what have they released that I hadn't loved? But
right.
True. Yeah, there's definitely a craft there.
That one really surprised me though too. And I had a sample of it before we opened that one that day. But even your reaction to it.
Yep. We had them all right there, and I was going back and forth. I'm like, this double single I must have, and it's right back there.
Now, what I didn't do, and I knew we were doing the Compass Box, the Muse, I didn't pull the fact sheet from it. I know this is made up. There's 20-year-old. It's all grain whiskey. It's a blended grain. There's 20, 30, and even some 40-year-old grain whiskeys in this. Do you have it there, Brett? Are you looking at it?
That's what I'm pulling up, yeah. I did all my notes on what I was going to talk about. I completely forgot about the whiskey.
Yeah.
Keep waiting to say like you've.
Oops.
Yeah.
By the way, 321
and 320.
Hopefully our 45-minute bank here or time allotment is enough to get the story out.
You've been hired for the next movie.
Who?
He's the next. He's like the new Jedi.
Ah.
Yeah.
Keith over the Malted Man Cave. What's up? All happy STD Boom Day.
STD Boom Day, baby. We're catching. We're catching.
They're breaking out all over the place. STDs are rampant.
Shot of penicillin.
What's that?
Yeah. A shot of penicillin.
Yeah, just a penicillin joke on the STD.
Here's, and I've seen some reviews from the hedonism from hedonism, hedonism quindecimus, and even the Muse.
Oh, very fragrant.
You have to have different expectations from a grain whiskey. A grain whiskey does not bring the same as a single malt does or a peated whiskey.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Yeah, I know you know.
Okay. Yeah.
To the people out there that are watching. So you kind of have to, same as a rye whiskey, a bourbon, a single malt Scotch, a sherried Scotch, or a peated Scotch. You kind of just have to develop your own preferences, what you like, what is good, what isn't. And when it comes to a grain whiskey, it's a different category. Don't go into a grain whiskey and expect the same that you're expecting out of a 25-year Macallan or a 25-year Balvenie, right. You know, something along those lines.
100%.
Well, then there's also that common misconception that grain whiskey is just crap whiskey, you know, like being such a filler for so many low-end blends that everyone kind of has that kind of sour taste in their mouth already before.
Right. Absolutely.
So I get a floral fragrance, and then I get like a spun sugar.
And I'm actually, I keep wanting to, I want to go in for a sip already, but I just want to let it sit for a little bit because we literally just poured it.
Right. Mine was sitting already, so I already went in for the sip.
I'm going to let it open and breathe a little bit.
That's what I'm trying to do. So let's just get into business.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm curious. I got to know.
So for those that are tuning in, Scotch Trooper's been not necessarily absent, but there's been a less output on his end as far as social media goes, updates, and whatnot. So
there's multiple angles to start the story, but I'll just go from the timeline that I have. In April or late April, I got a phone call from Edmonton, and they asked me if I had heard about a complaint that had come out about me, and I was like, no, I'm not aware. I'm actually packing up our family to go to Disney World, and like I'm kind of on vacation mode. And she's like, well, our legal team's going to be calling you in 15 minutes to go over the details. And apparently it was a big deal. I didn't know how big it was when they went over it. But what ended up happening was someone had submitted a 26-page complaint to DISCUS, which is the Distilled Spirits Council of the U.S. So they govern media, advertising, and marketing over distilled spirits in the United States. So someone submitted a complaint to them, 26 pages, that I and every brand that I've been working with over the last 2 years have been advertising to minors because we're using toys in my photography. So that then turned into, so the time frame of that was they had every brand that was mentioned in this complaint had till May 8th to respond to the complaint and saying that either they're going to work with me or continue to work with me or sever ties and, you know, ask for me to pull down my content. And then DISCUS had like a week to deliberate and come up with their ruling. Unfortunately, we didn't get that actual ruling until June 28th, I believe it was. So there was like 2 or 3 months of just sitting around doing nothing, just waiting to hear from them. So in that, in the complaint itself, it goes through my last 2 years. It's kind of creeper-ish, stalker kind of mentality, where it goes through the last 2 years of who I met with, which brands sent me on which trips, which brands sent me bottles, which brand managers and ambassadors I've met with for drinks, and then which posts then came from those meetings in my social media, as well as the brand's social media, and as well as the ambassador's social media. So it had all of this just listed, dated, just turned out like it looked like a complete legal document, but it wasn't from the Discus lawyers. It was from this whoever sent in the complaint. But
which is anonymous. Someone did this anonymously because they didn't want to put their name on it even.
Correct. And because it was anonymous and then Discus just forwarded on to all the brands mentioned, those brands freaked out thinking it was coming from the Discus lawyers. And so I immediately started getting cease and desist letters from some of the top brands. Other brands like Virginia Distillery Company and Edmonton and others like came out like in full support, like straight on. But then as like the story kind of came out and everything, and Discus sent out their response, then all those other brands kind of had to either fall in line with Discus or kind of go rogue and say we're not going to adhere to that. So long story short, that's what's been going on. But
so originally, though, go back a few years, you were in IT. You did computer work, IT jobs. You left that behind to pursue whiskey. And this endeavor with photography and brand social media and whatnot. And now you're back to IT work.
I wouldn't say I'm back to IT work, okay. But this definitely. So back up a tad bit. I was able to use Scotch Trooper to jump into doing this full time, but not because I've monetized Scotch Trooper in a way to do it full time. What I was bringing in through Scotch Trooper was actually probably like 10% of my actual income. Like I didn't want to monetize it because of something like this. Like this was just my hobby. It's something, a passion, my creative outlet. And I wanted to keep it like that. I wanted my voice and my opinions to remain my opinions. So in that, I was able to, though, build relationships with brands, build relationships with other agencies. And so I've been doing freelance photography, social media management on the side, all like not Trooper related, like all just straight up brand management and photography. But unfortunately, because of all this, the Scotch Trooper name is still associated to all that. So all those brands that I was working with on the side had just froze up everything. And so, no, I'm not back into web development, but I'm doing it because we need to keep baking. Like we need food.
So someone takes offense that you using stormtroopers and Star Wars, know,
which by the way, I love stormtroopers and Boba Fett, and I'm not a child.
Well,
right.
And what I've got a 16-year-old, almost 16, and an 18-year-old, and neither one of them has started drinking scotch because of your photography.
Well, and the kids nowadays are into video games, not that Star Wars isn't, but let's be honest, Star Wars is huge for our generation.
Yeah. Well, and so on top of that, though, I mean, yes. I don't even know. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Two things. Whiskey Watch is asking, what was the final ruling then?
The final ruling was that Discus upheld the complaint 100%.
What?
So in that they asked, I see in that a lot. They asked for all the brands to pull my content and to then send me a message and tell me to take down all my content as well. So since this ruling has come out, I've gotten some additional cease and desist letters.
Huh.
And Nemo's been joining us all day. He's had a Scotch tasting going. He had buddies coming over his whiskey club. They've had us on the big screen all day.
Watching footy and us.
He asked how they can support you.
That's a good question at this point. Right now, I'm still waiting to hear back from some of the main brands as to how they're going to respond to, or not respond to, but how they're going to adhere to the final ruling. Like brands like Virginia Distillery, were pretty adamant saying that they're just going to continue working with me, and they're not taking down any posts. But some of the other brands that did come out and support originally have then, turned around saying that they still support me, but they can't continue to work with me as is, and so for me to take down my stuff. I think the most disconcerting part of this is the amount of detail that went into the complaint. It had to have come within the whiskey community. A lot of the details in it were only available through my Instagram stories. A lot of the knowledge of the brands that I've been working with really only comes from people who know the industry and know who's working with which brands. Because it was pretty, like I said, it was stalkerish.
What's your recourse?
The recourse right now, so I don't. To go back to how to support. I don't know at this point. I can't. I can continue on because Discus really governs the brands, and this complaint went through the brands to get at me, essentially. I never received the complaint. I was never contacted by Discus. It was all the brands that were reaching out to me saying, hey, we heard about this. What's going on? What can we do? And all that. So ultimately, it's not really telling me I can't continue, but if I want to remain in good standings with the brands, of course, I'm not going to just continue posting as I was, and just middle finger to everybody. So at this point, I need to see what the final brands come back with, but there's going to be a change. I got to where I was by being organic and kind of letting the content run itself and tell the story as to where it needs to go. So that's just what I'm going to do at this point. I need to figure out a way to separate the two, but still remain Scotch Trooper.
Yeah.
I still have a voice in the community. I mean, that's what we're kind of running everything around. Like I have people like, Lisa, Cocktail Maven, Whiskey is Everything, Maggie. I've got like Whiskey Nate, Single Malt Alliance. Like all those guys have just come out in massive support. So we're trying to plan some next steps. And I saw the glass from Lisa. That was amazing. But we have a couple things in the pipeline right now as to how we're going to handle this going forward. But again, it's great that we have a ruling, but now we still are in a waiting game. So,
Bart,
wow, I just don't know. It's not where I thought this was. I figured they were like, everything's always like, we love Scotch Trooper. He's going to be in the next Star Wars movie. Like, woohoo! He's in. LucasArts is flying out to Tunisia where they're filming. We can't tell you the name of it. And I'm like, woo! So, wow.
Blind Whiskey Reviews is asking, is there, anyone we can contact, people can email to voice support for you?
I don't know at this point, to be honest. I don't know, like, there has to be a way for me to appeal. There has to be a way for me to submit a complaint in response. My goal right now is just to get the word out there as to what happened. So many people were just assuming that I got a cease and desist from Disney and that they were taking me down. Like, and I respond to all of them. I was like, if Disney wanted me gone, like I'd be dead already.
No, Disney brought you. Well, it was LucasArts that brought you out to the studio, right?
Yeah, I was out there, and yeah, they know I exist and I'm still alive. So I mean, that's a good sign right there.
Right.
Sean Nemo is saying, tell Trooper that my fiance is a lawyer in California. They get a lot of work out there. He didn't say that. That's me ad-libbing.
Yeah.
He says, if you want some information or some informal, formal legal help or advice, let him know. But Sean, you want to put your email address out maybe for people to contact you?
Scott, you mean?
Who?
Sorry, you're saying Nemo.
Nemo
who's got info
for Scotch Trooper.
Roger.
Scotch Trooper. Brett, do you want to put out your email address for?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just scotch.trooper@gmail.
Scotch.trooper@gmail.com.
Yep. I'd greatly appreciate it.
And real quick, George Kaplan, hate this happened to Trooper. You have our support, brother. I'll open a bottle for you. He says, Balvenie single barrel 12, peat week 14, single barrel 15 sherry, or peated cask 17 year. I'm going with the
peat week. Knew it.
Yeah.
Peat week's good.
Peat week, our review is coming up on that. And spoiler alert, close your ears. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the comments too.
All right.
Yeah, I would say Peat week. Go for it.
Yeah, it's and several people have commented. It's sad that someone can file an anonymous complaint basically and take down Scotch Trooper, in all essence.
Well, the interesting part is like there's so many other accounts out there that have kind of rimmed off of what I've been doing, right? So this style is going to continue on whether or not I'm doing it or not. So I don't see why I was the target. Like I can see why I was the target, but at the same time, like it's not going to stop what's going on already.
Well, but really, that's my point. Would be why somebody that wants it to stop. Like I said, especially what the black editions are the ones you get, which are the highly detailed figures.
Yeah, Black Series. Yeah,
the Black Series. They're expensive. I am going to tell you, as a kid that collected Star Wars figures, I wouldn't have even collected those. Those are for me as a grown-up kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're more collectible figures than anything.
Yes, and even the style was movie-esque in terms of how you filmed it. So it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. That's just for someone did point out that it was artistic. It wasn't. I mean, the way you spend so much time even setting up a shot, there's an artistic level to it. It's not marketing or advertising. It's art, really.
Yeah. I mean, it was my creative outlet, and to have that squash is kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is that it's an art endeavor. It's not a marketing endeavor.
Yeah. But then the brands were keen to that, and yes, I got free whiskey. Yes, I was sent on trips here and there, but I mean, you do that for journalists too,
right?
And so, almost if someone's listing out the dates and the times that you did this or you did that or you met with so and so or you got such and such bottle, that's somebody that's jealous.
Yeah, no doubt.
Probably.
Yeah.
So real quick.
Tom
R. Sad news indeed. Stay strong. I have to believe you will come out on top.
No matter what.
Yep.
Yeah. If anything, this has actually helped, strengthen a lot of relationships with some of the brands that came out in support. So there's silver linings all over the place. It sucked for the last couple months, but I mean, we're at the end of it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm pretty excited as to what this is going to bring out. So,
well, good. Yeah. Stay positive and keep on keeping on, as Joe Dirt said.
Boom.
And right on.
I think the cowboy hat community is going to reach out for me. They're going to come for me because I'm always displaying cowboy hats.
Is that a contradiction?
I don't know.
Where was that going?
I'm just saying, who's next?
Well, I got to say too,
if they can go after that kind of art, this isn't art going on over here. I'm sure you would compare, right?
We were lining up people for the 12 Hours of Boom, and I had Scotch Trooper on the list, and I sent an email or I DM'd you and said, hey, July 7th, what are you doing? And you said, oh yeah, I'll have a lot to talk about. And I'm like, oh wow, it must be something good going on. Yeah. And then when we just last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, that's not good.
So it's opened up.
Yeah.
Let's get to the whiskey.
I'll tell you what, I took a sip, and this is a little bit higher. This is 53.3%, and it is simply delicious. I was blown away by the first sip.
So describe your nose here.
The nose,
because I get a floral fragrance. Yes, it's high ABV.
Yeah, no, I mean, such a sweet, almost Spanish vanilla.
Vanilla.
That's VAI, yeah.
Okay.
Vanilla.
Right.
Looking for this, trying not to stick my nose right in the glass.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, cherry sweet finish.
It's rich. It's thick for a green whiskey.
Well, that's what Compass Box does. It's so different and unique. First they start off with doing the extra stave and just some experimentation, but they're bringing, they're putting a focus on a blended whiskey, and then they start working with grain, and people, just like you were saying, were like, what? Grain's just a filler for cheap whiskeys. Turns out, no, it's not.
Well, John Glazer's first release was Hedonism, which is a blended grain. I think, and that's why he's done several of the anniversary editions or the special editions have been with Hedonism. Now I forget what the first one was, but you had Hedonism Quindecimus, Hedonism Maximus, and then the Muse. I forget what the one was before Maximus, but you had Maximus, then Quindecimus, and the Muse. There's another one that's in there as well.
So on the opening palate, I get like the sweet tart sugariness, but then it switches into this beautiful soft mouthfeel, and then that's when these cherries come forth.
I just got a little tobacco. I don't know why. Just light.
Yeah, I can see the tobacco actually.
Yeah.
On the nose or on the palate? Where'd you get
palate.
The tobacco?
Palate. Rombat has a good point. He says, I think Trooper can debrand his art only if needed and keep the theme of his work going. That is true. I mean, really, you could remove labels from bottles, Photoshop labels.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, if I wanted to just continue on as is, I could. I mean, I would just have to be able to do it with brands that support what I do, which is, a possibility. Like let's say, on American whiskey or something like that. I think what really kind of concerns me about this whole thing is it wasn't just the attack against me that is causing ripples. It like I heard from brand managers, I heard from brand teams that were close to losing their job over this because legal got to it and like, why the heck are you working with this guy? And then brands like Secret Spirit Company, like I did the whiskey advent calendar with them. Again, no money exchanged hands whatsoever. They just gave me the whiskey advent calendar, asked if I wanted to take part in this year. realized then like how much work was involved in like doing trooper shots like for every day. I was like, holy hell, what did I get myself into? But at the same time, like this complaint was not only sent to them, but their U.S. importers, and like that's hurting their business potentially as well, just because like they're involved in something like this. So it's kind of been a lot more widespread than just, you know, me not being able to post. So it's just disconcerting that someone's jealousy could then, you know, hurt that many people potentially.
Yeah. Real quick, for the awesome content, Scott and Bart and everyone on the live, best show in town.
Baby. The live.
Now you could continue. Well, you could continue posting pictures that you want. But you're not going to get support from the brands. You know, you're not going to get the invitations to the openings or the releases of the whiskey.
And you know what? That's not what I got into this for. Like I didn't get into this for any reason other than to learn about whiskey from other enthusiasts. So anything I do from this point it's just, you know, trying to find another creative outlet.
Graham came in a little late. Just to kind of recap what happened was someone anonymously filed a 26-page complaint with the Distilled Spirits Council of U.S. Against Scotch Trooper and the brands that he's worked with, alleging that they are advertising to minors by using toys in their their pictures, their promotional announcements and stuff like that. So Scotch Trooper basically received cease and desist orders from everybody. Essentially what I said, you know, being laid off by all of the brands that he was working with. Temporarily anyway, until.
But again, like I started off just by, you know, shooting bottle shots and then slowly adding in some Star Wars influence. Mm-hmm. Then I got into.
Oh wait, let me interrupt. It started with the big Lego figure in front of the Balvenie 12 double cask.
Yep. And then they shared it, and then I was like, oh, that looks like a good next step. But I was doing lamps at the time too, and so that was another, you know, kind of pivot. And so, like my account has seen many different faces over the last couple of years. Yeah.
What kind of lamps was you were doing?
Lamps, baby.
Wow, you guys just had that just primed and ready to go. That's awesome.
Oh, it's right there. That's where I keep it, and it's plugged in often as well, because this is our 100th review.
That is the bottle from our 100th
This is the
review.
bottle. So yeah, we did our first review ever was Kalila
12,
and then we decided to revisit it at our 100th show, and then Scott saved that bottle, sent it to you, and you returned it with this beautiful the toppers, the switch, and the
I wasn't nervous at all cutting that bottle.
That's just another bottle.
Yeah, it's just a bottle.
Good. But yeah, so my account's seen multiple faces over the last couple of years, so I'm not really concerned as to how I'm going to maneuver from this point on. This is really just me getting the word out, just letting people know what's been going on, and that they may see a change coming. It won't be anything, you know, far removed from what I've been doing, but just to bear with me as I figure out the next steps.
I'm sure you are not going to say, do you have any idea? Are you looking at do you think there's anybody in particular that's responsible?
I have a few notions. But again, it's anonymous. I have no proof. And it's not my job to pull someone underneath the rug like that. That doesn't even make sense. But you know what I mean? It's not my job to call them out. If they want to own up to it, then great. If not, then we'll carry on. I'm not scared at this point. The damage has been done, and we'll just move on from here.
Yeah. Adapt and
overcome.
Adapt, overcome, change what you got to change, and get going.
Home.
Hoyt Hemphill, fight the good fight, sir.
Boom. 499.
Cheers.
So back on the whiskey. Go, Scott. This is your this is like your baby. Tell me about it. Tell me about your baby. I
This
saw you,
is
the
very
way you
good.
cradled it on the rotation that you
I was
do.
trying just to get
That's a cradle. I call that the Scott cradle.
the tropical and the the vanilla creams. I mean, this is a very good whiskey. And it was either Santa Cruzan or Tom R the other night on a live stream that said we needed to open this because it was delicious, basically. I agree. It is.
This is the one where they built it off of a mystery cask. Isn't that correct?
That I'm not sure of. I don't remember that part.
Okay, let me look that
up. We've got what is it? Henry, guys, this is my first viewing. Thanks for the chat. Greeting from Paisley in Scotland. Appreciate the update.
Thanks, Graham. I'm pretty sure it looks like Graham.
Looks like
Henry.
it's Graham, I think. Cool. Thank you for coming on the show. We love the 12 hours of boom, baby. I will admit, I broke my 1 ounce rule during the cocktail point.
Yeah.
So then I had to ease up a little bit. Ease up.
Smooth it in.
Smooth it in. Rub it in. Backstrap it. Double strap. Somebody's like, he's the first. He's like, what the hell is he talking about? That was like 4 shows right there. Hi, this is Phil. Good luck, guys. And Nick V. I got to be careful because I'm reading from a while, but pretty soon I'm going to yell out to hats. To hats.
Food Quig made a comment one day, and he said, that's the way we do it or something.
But he had a capitalized H with a small T.
It was a typo.
But I'm looking from like a ways away, and my eyesight's bad. I was like, to hats.
To hats, the way we do it.
and then the comments lit up, baby. Lit up. Actually, and then it stuck. So everybody they enjoyed that.
Lana Lou says, Rombout had added some actual sherry to Oak Cross, and it was interesting. We've had a couple of those, and it still adds a little bit too much sweetness to me. I still like just the sherry finished or the sherry casking. But she says Oak Cross is too light to her. If Oak Cross is too light for you, don't try the Asila, because the Asila is even lighter than the Oak Cross.
Tonight's poison. Bring it, baby.
Yep, we support you, Scotch Trooper. I don't know. I'm just trying to think if there was any online movement or a petition, what it would do, because you've gotten, cease and desist from however many distilleries already. So I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be me having to go back to these brands with kind of a rebrand idea and say, hey, would you be willing to work with this, essentially?
Do you want to use board games?
Woo, that's a good idea there. Kids don't play the ones I play. Scott's going to get you in trouble again. Board games, Monopolies for children. I'm like, no. I play games for grown-up men.
From geek to geeker.
Yeah, for huge geeks. I got a 872 over there. You'll see them later when we got Cousin Shane and Shane Pennington.
Yeah. We got to set up for them. I thought they would be here. Well, I figured 3 to 4 they were supposed to be here. So we'll have them set up. We're going to have some live entertainment, some live music for everybody here before long, hopefully.
Nice.
I think you'll rebound. Take the Star Wars out of it. Your work with the distilleries, your photography skills, this and that. I
don't think I'll ever fully take Star Wars out of it. It's just trying to figure out how it's going to fit in. I mean, that's always been my my niche, essentially. So that's got to remain. I just need, like, I have a friend who does portrait photography for some cosplay enthusiasts, and so I was thinking about trying to incorporate that. And, I mean, there's a couple ways around it, and just I'm excited to be able to expand onto other things at this point. But I think for lack of a better term, like the toy photography is going to still be a creative outlet of some sort. I just need to figure out where it fits.
Got it.
because the storytelling in that was just it was fun.
Do you go back and look at some of your early pictures and are you highly critical of them? You're like, oh my God, look at that. That was thing that's bad.
Or do you go, bam, that was magic right
there. I go back like a week and I'm like, oh.
Wow.
No, I mean, there are some shots that like I'll look at and just be like, yeah, I nailed that. Like there's no way to update that and upgrade it at all. But other shots, I'm working on either deadlines or just making sure that I have constant content, like, and just need to make sure that there's something to push. I don't have a backlog per se. I like to work off of kind of what I'm feeling at the moment, what kind of stories are coming into my head, which whiskeys are kind of speaking to me. So I don't really have like a schedule or anything. I just kind of wake up one day, realize I want to do a post, and we'll just start shooting.
Well, let's do a giveaway.
Let's blind whiskey reviews real quick. He says one of the famous scenes from Star Wars takes place in a bar. This whole thing is stupid.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not the use of Star Wars. It's the use of the toys.
The toys. Yeah. Yeah. The Mos Eisley Cantina, though.
But again, I'm using like these. The cheapest one is $20. Like,
yeah,
these are not like My Little Ponies. You know, like these are serious toys.
That's an avenue right there, man. The brony crowd would be all over your artwork.
Stephen Connor's late to the party. How's the Muse? The Muse is wonderful. Very good. We got 2 coins, 320 and 321.
Sure.
One to a Patreon supporter, one to somebody that's watching.
Right.
Trooper, you got a trivia question for anybody that's watching?
Yes. How many parsecs did it take for Han Solo to run the Kessel Run?
We could answer that right here. We got 38 people. Someone's going to know that. We can't win our own coin or we'd be all over it. Here it comes. There's going to be a flood.
12.
There we go.
Boom.
Jason
nailed it.
Jason C. He gets, we're going to do coin 320.
320 for Jason. And so for a Patreon supporter, coin number 321.
That's right. We've got nobody new currently. That's
check,
all right.
Check.
Yep.
Still at 104.
Checking one more time. Just it's refreshing right now. It's spinning. Little ball's spinning just to make sure. You can go to Patreon. I think everybody I'm seeing on here is probably a Patreon supporter. Our support's been way up lately, so thank you. Nothing's coming in yet. And we're running out of time, so I don't see one yet. So go ahead and do just say, Siri, give me a random number. Is it on?
She doesn't recognize your voice.
Dang.
Hey, Siri, generate a random number between 1 and 104.
Random number between 1 and 104 is 11.
11. That's an early adopter here. Let's see. Patreon supporter number 11. Oh,
who is it?
Roy Duff.
Roy Duff.
He just won coin 321.
Woo-hoo.
We'll deliver that to him in person in Austin, Texas.
We'll see him in Austin in about a month and a half. All right, 321. There we go. And
we're at
on it.
3:45, so it's shutting down time. Troop, thanks for joining us. I know that wasn't an ideal conversation.
No.
But you wanted to get the word out, and you've had a lot of inquiries, questions coming at you.
Yeah.
And hopefully everybody has a decent understanding now of.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. And for all the people that came here to, talk about whiskey, I apologize, but yeah, it was really good to have this so I can, let everybody know what's going on and keep everybody updated at this point. So I appreciate it.
Okay. And Scotch, everybody probably knows Scotch Trooper on Instagram, Twitter. Also, Brett Friends at or is it Friends Creative?
Friends Creative, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right.
Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Cilantro.
Dummies.
And then hand me that black shirt.